My guy friend Tom has been one of my best friends since college. We're in our mid-20s and are both in committed relationships with long-term partners. I've never had feelings for Tom, nor has he ever had feelings for me. Since college, Tom has been a huge watch fanatic. 2 months ago, he showed me this stunning vintage watch and made an offhanded comment about how he would die of joy if he got his hands on one. Coincidentally, I was in New York City a few weeks ago and stumbled upon this watch store that just so happened to have the exact one Tom wanted. It was expensive, I won't lie, at about $2,500, but I decided to get it for his 25th birthday. To me, it was basically fate, lol. My boyfriend and I do very well financially, so this was something that I could personally afford and wanted to buy for Tom, especially knowing how happy it'd make him. Tom has a tradition of hosting a dinner party at his place for his birthday, and then following that up with cake and gift opening. I told him before the dinner that my gift was a huge surprise and asked if he could save it for last, and he agreed. His girlfriend ends up going first, and she gave him this gorgeous sweater she crocheted and a book he'd been wanting, which I thought was super thoughtful and lovely. Last, it was my gift. When he opened it and saw what it was, he literally screamed, hopped over a bunch of people, and squeezed me in this huge bear hug. I was so happy to see him happy, it genuinely filled me with so much joy. He even got emotional and I saw him swipe a few tears. He also said it was the best gift he'd ever received. The whole time his girlfriend was only slightly smiling and stayed quiet. The next morning, I got a text from his girlfriend that essentially said that although she appreciated my thoughtful gift, it was a bit out of touch and lacked awareness. She admitted that Tom had also told her about the watch and she wanted to get it for him, but it was way out of her budget. She accused me of knowing this, I had no idea, and still getting it to rub in her face and to outshine her. She finished by saying how she felt like I'd overstepped a boundary by getting the gift and would appreciate me not doing anything similar to it again in the future. I responded and told her that while I could see her point of view, I was just trying to do a nice thing for a close friend of mine. I asked her, wouldn't you rather he'd gotten a gift and seen the happiness that it brought him than him not getting it at all? She responded that happiness was only shared between me and Tom, and no one else, and that she felt hurt by my actions. Only my boyfriend knows about this and he's on my side. But thinking through it all again, I see how I could have overstepped, but my boyfriend says that it's not my job to apologize for her insecurities. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. You weren't thinking of how to hurt her, you just wanted a nice gift for your friend. Your boyfriend is right. You don't need to apologize for her insecurities. The girlfriend's point was valid up until she said that happiness was only shared between her and Tom and no one else. She needs to accept that just because you're someone's SO, that doesn't mean you will be the only one to provide your partner with happiness in their life. Methinks that OP did want to outshine the girlfriend and everyone else, so she also asked a friend to save opening her gift till the end because it was special. That to me was when it crossed over into you are the idiot for me. With something that expensive, ostentatious and important to him, if I were OP, I would have asked to give him his gift privately, or she could have gotten several of their friends, including the girlfriend, to go in together on it so it wouldn't be a big gift from her. But then OP wouldn't have gotten the attention she so desperately needed. Next time, spend $50 on a gift for a friend and use the remaining $2,450 to buy a clue. You don't buy someone else an over-the-top gift, then insist it's the grand finale when you're partnered and you know the recipient has a partner. It's like wearing a long white dress to a wedding. Even if you didn't specifically set out to upstage the bride, it sure as heck looks like it. OP clearly wants to reinforce that she's the most important woman in his life, especially by insisting on being the grand finale. I feel so sorry for his girlfriend and her boyfriend. She may not even realize, but she's keeping him as a backup in her mind, and she wants to make sure he thinks she's the ultimate woman in case their relationships don't work out. I can't imagine being so awful to my girlfriend or my friend's partner like that. You're not the main character in everybody else's life. My 26 male wife, 26, gave birth to our beautiful baby boy a few weeks ago. I have a sister, 19 female, who is severely autistic and is non-verbal. She can only communicate by making gestures or making certain sounds to match her needs. Only I and my parents can tell which needs are which. I do love her so much, but I feel like I was the glass child due to her disability. Everyone focused on her, and even when she was first born, I had to look after her. My wife allowed my parents to meet their grandson in person a few days ago, along with my sister. I told my wife that I wouldn't allow my sister to hold him in case she has a random outburst, which she has a lot. They came around and we started chatting about our son, and then my mum pointed out that my sister hadn't held him yet. She didn't even know what was going on, she was distracted. I told them she was occupied at the moment and to leave her be. My mom called her over to meet the baby and she scowled. It was the type of face she makes when she doesn't like something or someone, but then she smiles and sticks her hands out to hold him. I told her not right now. He was sleepy, and she started screaming, banging her hands against the wall. My dad took her to another room so she could trash it and calm down. My mom told me that I should have let her hold him just for a few seconds. As I said, I love her, but I don't trust her to hold my baby, not even be alone with him for 2 seconds due to her random outbursts. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sister should not at all be near a baby. She is incapable of having any control over her own emotions and behaviors, which of course isn't her fault, but also doesn't eradicate the fact that your baby will be in danger in her sister's hands. It doesn't matter how much you care for your sister, don't let your parents guilt trip you into giving your baby to your sister. Your mom is prioritizing including your sister over the literal safety of a baby. Yep, she's prioritizing her child's feelings over OP's child's safety. And it's probably obvious, but it would be unsafe to leave the baby with the grandparents and sister for this reason. Please, OP, when you need a babysitter, or are considering letting the grandparents babysit, you have to consider this. Indeed, let's think briefly about what can happen if the newborn wakes up and starts crying and OP's sister gets scared. OP has spent his whole life caring for his sister and seeing everyone prioritizing her needs over his. He was also likely not allowed to express any negative feelings about any of it growing up. It's no wonder he's questioning himself now, even though it's obvious to those of us on the outside. My husband, 36, and I, 33 female, have been married for 8 years and have 3 kids, a kindergartner, a toddler, and an infant. I'm still recovering from my planned C-section, which is taking much longer than I'd hoped. I'm not on bed rest, but pretty darn close. Unless it's to go to the bathroom, change, or feed my baby, I'm pretty much always sitting or lying down. I don't like it, but it's what my body needs to heal. Both my husband and I are still on maternity and paternity leave. Obviously, that means pretty much every other aspect of our lives falls on my husband right now. He's been doing a great job of caring for the older kids and ensuring everything in our lives is running as smoothly as it can, given our circumstances. He's also great about caring for the baby and giving me breaks as much as possible, but I can tell it's starting to wear on him mentally and physically. Neither of us is sleeping well, and I swear he looks like he's lost more weight than I have since the baby came. Due to me being pretty much immobile, I can't really go out of the house to do anything without assistance, so I wasn't able to plan anything really fun for Father's Day. I did help the older kids make him cards and ordered him some nice steaks to cook though. I felt bad because, for Mother's Day, he bought me a 6-hour pregnancy spa treatment and took the older kids out of the house all day so I could have peace. But on the morning of Father's Day, I was feeling worse than usual as I had to strain myself the day before to pick something up off the floor, and I aggravated my incision, so I was laid up all day. Again, this meant my husband had to do literally everything that day. I could tell he was irritated and upset when he got the older kids to bed. I told him to try to relax for a bit, but when the baby started fussing and he jumped up off the couch, grabbed a pillow, and screamed into it. I tried to calm him down, but he just kept freaking out about how he's at his wit's end and he needed a break, and that I couldn't even find a way to give him a single hour of quiet on Father's Day. I started crying and he just looked at me and walked away to take care of the baby without saying anything. After he took care of the baby, he came back to me and apologized, but he said he needed a break and he was going to talk to family about taking the older kids for a week or so, and that he's just disappointed that his Father's Day was spent running around doing everything for everyone else. He didn't even get to cook his steaks, he ate cold pizza for dinner. I asked him what I was supposed to do because it's not like I can move or leave the house, and he said I could have looked into a sitter for the kids or made them sit with me and watch a movie for an hour so he could have just a sliver of time for himself. He said he feels like his needs are at the bottom of the list and he just wants to feel like he matters for one day. So, am I the idiot? You are a recovering mother, which everyone should understand, but I've spent 30 seconds reading this and already thought, why didn't she coordinate with a friend or family member, etc., to take the kids for a portion of the day? That takes the bare minimum of effort and shows you care for your man on his day when he's been getting the job done. Hindsight is 20/20, but you are the idiot. Hey, but at least she ordered some steaks so that he could cook them by himself. Seriously, at least order food in from a nice restaurant or something to make it feel special. So many conflicts can be fixed if people would just use their brains. You are the idiot, and please call some people to come over so your husband can have a break. Sounds like he desperately needs it. Unless you left it out, you didn't even console your husband. He broke down in front of you after weeks, maybe months of doing a lot on his own. Your only response was, "Well, what was I supposed to do?" Seriously, you managed to get access to the internet to post this, but not to find a sitter for Father's Day? Apologize to him and make it up to him. And next time he opens up to you, don't cry and make it about you. He's doing literally everything for you. My wife and I have 2 daughters, one mid-teen and one young teen. My wife's younger sister is unmarried, but she's been dating her boyfriend on and off for around 5 years. Their relationship isn't healthy. I don't want to get too into it, but she would be much better off without him, but he somehow manages to draw her back in whenever she leaves. My wife and I just recently moved back to the States and about an hour away from her hometown, where her sister lives. Last night, my wife got a frantic call from her sister asking if she could stay at our place for a few days. Her boyfriend apparently showed her his crazy side for the nth time and it scared her off, so now she's looking for a place to crash, and my wife agreed. Now, I fully understand the seriousness of the situation, and I was fine with her maybe hanging out for a night, but I wasn't crazy about her staying extended. This is because we have 2 girls here and I don't want to invite this mess into my home. She's trying to avoid him and I fear he'll come here looking for her. That puts the safety of me, my wife, and her at risk, but more importantly, it puts my 2 teenage girls' safety at risk. I was uncomfortable doing that, so I explained this to my wife. I told her I'd be willing to give her shelter for the night since it was last minute, but I couldn't let her become a magnet for trouble in my house. My wife was livid. She told me I was heartless and asked me about her sister's safety. I said that I wanted her to be safe, but I will not sacrifice our daughter's safety for that. This led to a massive argument and her accusing me of not caring if her sister survived the week. I told her she was being unfair, especially in offering her shelter without both of our input. Her sister is still here and I made it clear to my wife that she needs to be gone ASAP. She's been angry since. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your first responsibility is and always will be to the safety of your kids. Help in other ways if you're able, but domestic situations are extremely dangerous to anyone in the midst. It's hard to say no in that situation, but you're doing the right thing. I wonder why your wife is not more concerned about inviting that danger around the children. She probably knows it deep down, but it's her sister, and maybe you're just kind of getting scapegoated a little here. Also, if this guy is dangerous, the sister's house is likely to be one of the first places he'll look for her, so they're at risk whether she's there or not. They need to work together to come up with a plan. OP, you should definitely anticipate the boyfriend showing up at your place. If you have an alarm, set it. If you don't have an alarm, consider what safety features you do have and which ones you should maybe get. This is exactly what happened when my aunt ran away from her abusive husband. She came to my house where my parents sheltered her, and our house was the first place he looked. They showed up with some toys and we had to have the police come and arrest him. He would have ended all of us to get to her. I was 10 years old and terrified. Have a couple of emergency plans laid out so your family knows what to do if the boyfriend shows up. I, teen male, do a martial art, and recently my parents relocated to a new city. I found a gym in the new city for the martial art I practice and enrolled. Due to religious reasons, I'm not allowed to touch members of the opposite gender unless they're family members or my wife when I get married. In my old gym, I never had any issues with this and everyone knew and respected it. I explained to my instructor at the new gym about this religious rule and she understood and said it was perfectly fine. After warm-ups, it was time to spar, and this girl walked up to me, even though many other people didn't have partners, introduced herself and asked to spar. I thanked her for the offer but briefly explained it was against my religion to touch her in any way. She looked angry, stormed off and found a different partner. I did too, and then I sparred without any incident. After class, this girl confronted me, saying I was an idiot for refusing to spar with her. I explained again that it was nothing against her, just my religious views, but she called me an idiot again. She complained to the instructor, who said I could spar with whoever I wanted and it didn't matter, but she continued to be mad. So I'm wondering, am I the idiot for this? Edit, it's a mixed gender class and there were many girls and women there. You would have respected it if she told you that she didn't want to spar with men due to past trauma. This is no different. You're not the idiot. It's a mixed gender class and there were lots of girls and women there. Yes, you signed up for a mixed gender class. This doesn't obligate the women to spar only with women. You are discriminating because your religion is discriminating, even if you have religious protections that she obviously doesn't understand. You are the idiot, OP. She has a right to attend a class she pays for and not face discrimination. I don't think women only have to spar with women. In general, I think everyone has the freedom to spar with whomever they want as long as there's mutual agreement. That applies to them and to OP as well. Assuming she's around your age, she's acting out of ignorance about religious and cultural differences. So she's an idiot for keeping up the drama and taking this personally, but hopefully she'll educate herself. You were polite and simply respected your beliefs. You're not an idiot for that. You're totally fine.